Happy hello to you friends, I hope you are doing well. I am back and I have some new sketchbook ideas for you all today. I have 5 of them just like last time. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos, but I like making them and it's like a little challenge every time I need to make one because I need to come up with more ideas. But yeah, so playing in the background is just me playing around with my original characters, Moss and Daisy, who are from my work in progress story that I will be turning into a series of graphic novels. So without further ado, let's get right into the prompts. So the first one that I have on my little list here is draw or paint some of your favorite foods. So this one is really fun, I think, because it's very colourful usually if you're using colour, and it's probably one of the most colourful subjects other than, I don't know, like fruit or, I don't know, flowers. But it's also a challenge because a lot of meals are usually quite complex visually. Like there's a lot of detail in the image of a meal. Like if you're like drawing pasta, for example, you're gonna have to draw every single noodle or piece of pasta, but you don't really have to do that because you could do implied detail, which is a technique that I usually see it in like architecture drawings or environment drawings, where they kind of just do a couple of lines or little squiggles that kind of look like the detail, whether that be like shingles or bricks or something, and they just do a little bit, and when you look back on it from further away, it looks much more detailed than it actually is. So I suppose you could do that with pasta or other meals there. And also, you could add to this prompt by making the food first and then using it as a live reference, so you get to draw it in front of you, and then you get to eat it afterwards. That is definitely a bonus, and that's how I would do it. You might have to go heat it up, I suppose, because it would probably be cold by then, but yeah. So that one is the first prompt. Draw or paint some of your favorite foods. Me, I'd probably do a bowl of pasta. So the next prompt that I've come up with is to make a new original character, or OC, based on a randomly generated color palette. So there are lots of ways you could do this. You could use a digital generator. There are plenty of websites out there. I like to use coolers.co. It has a paid version with a couple of benefits, but it's free to use otherwise, and this way you can guarantee that the colors will look good with each other. But you could also do it manually by mixing up all of your art supplies, closing your eyes, and picking out the colors. But this means you have to clean up and reorganize your art supplies, and you also don't get a guarantee that the colors you pick will look good next to each other. But maybe you could do like 5 colors plus a skin tone, or 3 colors plus a skin tone, or purposely don't use a skin tone. You could just go crazy with the colors. All I know is that having a restricted color palette really boosts your creativity. It makes you think outside of the box on what can go where. So that's a fun one, I think. But yeah, try that one. So this next one I absolutely love because I love doing stuff like this all the time, and it's really hard for me not to get carried away with it. But it's make a map of an imaginary place, which is world building, which I love. If you have watched any of my videos, you know I love world building. So there are a few ways that you could do this. You could just freehand it, which is what I usually do, but there are some fun alternative ways to do this. So you could use rice, dice, or an orange peel is the 3 go-to ones that I know of. So basically with rice or dice, you just grab a bunch of the thing and you just pour it onto your piece of paper as randomly as you can, and then you trace around the outside of the shape of like the main body of shape that the material has created. So rice, with this you can actually with dice you could do this as well. You could basically make the hills and mountains of the land where the hills of the rice are. Does that make sense? And maybe I'll draw like a little thing on my iPad and I'll put it on screen to try to explain to help explain what I'm trying to say. But basically you pour out the rice and there's going to be bumps and hills of the rice. So basically where those hills of the rice are, you put those hills and mountains in the map where those hills are. Does that make sense? And then with dice, you could also do this, because if you have some larger dice that go up to higher numbers, the higher the number is, the taller the landmass could be, which I think is a fun way to do it as well. But this of course only works if you have a lot of dice. So maybe you're like really into D&D and you have a lot of spare dice laying around of all the different sizes. So you could do that. And then there's the orange peel method, which this is really embarrassing, I don't like oranges. So I wouldn't do this one because I don't want to waste food. But basically you peel off the orange peel as randomly or as aggressively as you can. So then you have an orange to eat, but then you have the peel. So you put the peel flat down on your piece of paper and trace around the outside, and then you have your landmass. And then of course you just add in all the little bits like the forests, the towns, the cities, the hills, the mountains, the beaches, etc. But yeah, make a map of imaginary place. I love this one, and now because I've been talking about it, I want to go make a new map. But yeah, that's why I said I have to be really careful to not get carried away, because I really like world building and storytelling, like I said. So it's very easy for me to get carried away and create an entire new world and magic system and story and characters, and I go crazy with it. So I need to control myself. But yeah, make a map of an imaginary place. That is prompt number 3. And now we are up to number 4. So this one is quite fun and it makes you get really busy with your hands. It's make some interactive elements for a spread in your sketchbook. So this is really fun, I think, because I really want to do more of this, because it also makes your sketchbook really chunky, which I'm thinking of actually making a video, by the way, like 5 or maybe 10 ways to make your sketchbook chunkier. So keep an eye out for that. But there are a few different ways you can make a sketchbook spread interactive. So it actually gets the person who's looking at it, or yourself, to pull tabs or twist things around or open doors or whatever. So the few things that I have written down. So the first one is waterfall cards, which I have never done, but I've seen a lot of other people do it and I really want to try it because it looks really cool. But there are tutorials all over the internet about how to do this, but basically it's a tab that you pull and then like cards flip over, and when you pull it down, and then when you put it back and it goes back, and it looks really cool. I'll put a little photo or video on screen for you so you can see what it means. But there's that one, which is really cool, and then you get to be creative about what you want to actually put on the waterfall cards, so that's really cool. Then there's envelopes with messages inside, or maybe just an envelope, and you can use that envelope for other things like little drawings that you do or something. Then you could do doors. This is very simple, you just have a rectangle and you just cut a flap out of the rectangle, and then you have a door, and you stick it down on your paper, and then you can put stuff behind the door. You get to decorate the door how you want it to look. That's really fun. I have done this one before. It's very cute. I have a little fantasy door in my sketchbook. And there are probably a bunch of other things that you could do as well. I have only come up with a couple, but if you just search up on your browser of choice, interactive ideas, interactive elements for sketchbooks, I'm sure a million things would come up. So try that one. I'm sure it will be very fun. And we are at the final idea, idea. This one is quite simple, but I honestly find it the most inspiring personally. And it's just go on a walk with your sketchbook and pencil case, sit down somewhere and just draw what's around you. I love doing this. It's so calming and enjoyable, but it is also very scary, especially for people who've never done it before, because people will come up and look at what you are doing and they might even talk to you, which is scary. It's very scary. I'm okay at talking to people, but I hate it when they talk to me. I'm very socially anxious. It makes me very anxious. But you get used to it, and usually people are really nice about it. They want to know about what you're doing, and they will ask you questions, and they think your art is really cool, which is really nice. But anyway, yeah, back to the prompt. So you walk around, find a spot to sit down. You could draw people walking by, you could just draw little sketches, as detailed or as cartoony or simplistic as you want, or you could draw the nature around you, the trees, the bushes, or the buildings. If you're in an urban space, you could draw like a cafe or an apartment building, or a little store that you see, or you could do all of those in the one sitting. You could do all of them. But I really like this one. It's very fun, and it's like before you leave, you don't want to take your entire arsenal of art supplies with you, so you need to be very particular. Oops, my Teams just went off. You have to be really particular about what you bring with you, so you have to like do a little puzzle, like what am I most likely wanting to use when I get there. But yeah, that's the last one. Go on a walk, go touch some grass. And that is every prompt for today. Let me know which prompt you liked the most, or which one you think you're going to try in the comments down below. Oh, and also comment if you want to see more sketchbook prompt videos from me. I'd be happy to keep making them if you guys are enjoying them. I like making them, so let me know in the comments down below. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed or found this helpful, and also subscribe to the channel as well. I make a bunch of art content and sketchbook content, so if that's your kind of thing, consider sticking around. And that is everything for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I will see you all next time. Bye!